Today we brought together the current range of Toyota Corollas, their new and fresh looks and technology starting a new chapter in the brand's development. We'll be looking at each model independently, but before we do, we thought it fitting to meet the family first. Hi there, Sean Wilmot. Today we're looking at a triple treat of New Zealand favourites, the automotive equivalent of pavlova, pineapple lumps and hokey pokey. As to the latest generation, well, there's an extraordinary amount of choice in body style, specification level, engine size and perhaps more critically, fuel type. So we're going to take you through those variations right now. Let's check it out. Introducing now what is arguably my favourite of the Toyota Corolla range, the station wagon. Now, I've had a long-standing soft spot in my heart for wagons, particularly because of vehicles like this. They're exactly what I believe that the small to medium business sector in this country was built on cars just like this one. They're ideal reps cars, and that's what makes them so fantastic. Now, what we're talking about here is we've still got a Toyota family face, obviously, right across here, carrying across to the lights that are so very similar to what we've seen in the sedan and the hatchback. But what we also have noticed here is a plain surround here for the Toyota badge work. That tells us that this is not actually a hybrid vehicle. What we do have, though, is a serious upgrade from the original 1.5 of the previous model to now a 1.8 powerhouse. And while we're on the subject of the previous generation, I have to really give a big ups to Toyota in terms of the styling. The previous generation Corolla Wagon was a Japanese domestic spec model, so it was kind of round, kind of looked like a barrel on wheels. What they've done with the design teams over at Toyota, they've taken a European styling influence and they've spread it right across the range, and it's exemplified in this particular vehicle. Now, so what we're looking at here is a much, much sleeker looking design. We've still got the power here of all the muscle stretch lines here, the nice little breakdown here. But it's this long sloping appeal of the roofline that really, really sets this car off. Carries it all the way through, shows a demonstration of length, but also gives that sense of power and urgency that basically means you're here for business and you mean business. And that's what I like about it. This was the first of the Generation 12 GX Toyotas that came in and introduced Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that makes this one a technological marvel in addition to being a superb cargo carrier. The Corolla Wagon GX model is actually a very, very nice car to drive around suburban areas, particularly where it's going to be finding its home as a reps car. It's remarkably gentle, very easy to handle, very easy to steer, and you have great visibility. Powering the GX Wagon Corolla is a 1.8 litre engine, which is a vast improvement over the 1.5 the predecessor had. That one was a tad woeful because it got a little bit gaspy, a little bit raspy at the top end. But this 1.8 is just so much smoother. It is a long, lazy engine, takes its own time to just generate all the power that you need. It doesn't feel at all stressed or rushed or harassed. We're not saying that the Corolla Wagon's engine is lacking in power. We are talking about 104 kilowatts at 6,100 RPM, and that should give you an indication that, yeah, actually it's got a little bit of a tiger in its tail, so that's quite good. The big news is also about the torque. Obviously, when you're loading up your vehicle and you need to have cargo in there, you need to have a decent amount of grunt, so this one comes up with 171 newton meters of torque at 3,900 RPM. Realistically speaking, I can't sing the praises of this engine high enough except to comment on the fuel efficiency. Toyota actually claims 6.8 litres per 100 on this car, which is really, really, really conservative because we've managed to get this little puppy down to low fives quite comfortably without even trying. It really does make it an absolute godsend as far as the fuel card is concerned. The interior design of the hatchback and sedan are both a little bit more 21st century, while the station wagon is a little more traditional. The dashboard features chiseled lines which are pleasantly aggressive and combines both black piano inserts and silver chrome highlights. The only real telling difference is in the seats, in the fabric, and the main instrument clusters, and the way those instrument clusters present the information to the drivers. The wagon variant, being a GX, seems to be a little bit more functional and almost more basic than the hatchback or the sedan. It's not quite the case though, since the wagon was the first of the Generation 12 Corollas to feature Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. The GX is not, however, a hybrid, but it does offer a sport mode to give it that little bit of performance attribute. While the wagon has much of the Toyota Safety Sense suite, it does lack blind spot monitoring, but the vehicle's inherent design largely makes up for it. You also have the wagon trump card of extensive carrying capability with a near as perfect flat folding rear seat. There have been some spectacular improvements over this entire range for this generation. So now we have the body style differences, we have the hatch, the wagon, the sedan, and there's the promise of a crossover SUV to come later on. What we also have is longer and lower profiles across each and every model, and that contributes to the better fuel efficiencies and fuel economies. We also have greater connectivity than we've ever had before. Gen 12 Corolla is the latest in Toyota Corolla's success story. Try one for yourself.